to Career Uprising. I'm your host and professional career coach, Lorraine Rise. Join me as I guide you through an amazing journey of self-discovery and empowerment. If you are looking for work, changing careers, or stuck in a toxic job, then this is the show for you. I offer both practical and spiritual guidance to help you up-level and advance your career. Let's start the uprising. Hey everyone, you are listening to episode 86, Imposter Syndrome. And oh my goodness, it feels so good to hear my intro music again. I've been gone for 5 months. Oh my goodness, I took a much longer break than I thought, but I'm back. So before we get started, if you would just take a quick moment and do me a big favor and subscribe to the show, however you listen, maybe Apple Podcasts, on iTunes, or I'm out on all the different platforms, Spotify, tunein.com, lots of places, Google. But I would love it if you would subscribe so you don't miss a show and maybe even leave a review. It would be greatly appreciated. And I took a little hiatus from the show, which I've never done in the 2 years that I've been doing it. And it turned out to be a lot longer than I thought. I'll be honest, I really only thought I was going to be gone for a month or maybe 2 months, something like that. Turned into 5. I haven't made a show since July. So I had a big project that I wanted to devote my time and financial resources to with my website and my business. And I did. Then it took longer than I planned. And for a lot of personal things, like everyone can relate to in 2020, it just felt right for me to pause a little bit longer than I had planned to focus on some other things within my life and my family and the world. But I realized pretty quickly that 2020 was about to end without me putting out any more shows, and I didn't want to do that at all. So here I am, squeaking a few more out and getting revved up for a really positive 2021. And I really mean that. I'm so just energized to be back, and I've got a lot of topics that are planned out for 2021. And what I'm going to do is we're going to be really heavy on the career topics because I know that's what you guys know and love. We're going to go deep into a lot of teaching and content. In 2021, we're going to talk about changing careers, how to work remote, which everyone seems to be doing these days. We're going to talk about how to get more job offers and promotions and job searching, everything, how to love your job. I've got so many really just heavy hitting topics. So listen and follow this show in 2021 because I am refreshed and renewed and I missed you guys so much. It was sad to be gone. I missed the show so much. So I'm happy to be here and close out what's been a difficult year for a lot of people. And I want to bring some hope and some positivity to you guys and just start rolling out these topics that have been kind of swirling around in my brain for a while and wanting to talk to you guys. So, 2020, what a year. It's been really hard, I'm sure, for everybody in a lot of ways. And I'm not immune to that, although I felt very blessed and insulated from a lot of the financial challenges and things like that. But certainly it's presented personal challenges for me, having my daughter home and just with grappling with what's going on in the world and the elections and everything. So I'm right there with you guys. Absolutely. I'm blessed that the business remained pretty strong. I was just so proud of so many people who came through as clients and still wanted to step up, make career changes. And my career transformation program still was going strong. There's so many people out there who are really seeing the value in still making a career move at this time. It really is actually a good time for a lot of people, whether you just have to. A lot of people have to make a career change now, or whether you just want to. Either way, I think it's really been a year of introspection for a lot of people. I know I've been asking myself a lot of hard questions, and there's I'm just grateful for the opportunity to do that, at the individual level, and we're doing it at the collective level. And I think there's a lot of beautiful things that are coming out of this darkness that we've all been through. I really, really believe that. It's not over yet. But, it's a journey that we're all on together. So let's be grateful for it. Definitely. I know I'm committed to closing out 2020 strong and making 2021 an even better year than this was. And I hope that you will follow me and join me. Follow me on LinkedIn, follow me in my emails and on the show, and we'll do it together. What do you say? We get through 2021 together and make it the best year of our lives so far. All right. So, and I did say at the beginning of the show that I need your reviews and your support more than ever. And I do, because taking a break in the podcasting world, they say, is kind of the kiss of death. You can lose a lot of momentum and a lot of listeners, that it takes a really long time to build up. So I need your help. If you could please share the show with somebody else, take just 2 minutes and write a review on iTunes, whatever you can do. I would really appreciate it. I give this show freely every month. I'm going to be doing 2 to 3 shows every month. And it's just a great way to say thank you and pay it back. So I'd really, really appreciate that. All right, let's dive in. I want to talk to you guys today about imposter syndrome. Okay. Who's an imposter? Me? No way. Yes, you. You, me, all of us. Absolutely. I'm fascinated with this concept of imposter syndrome. We've all felt it at some point. And it doesn't mean that you are an imposter. That's what we have to learn. Okay. It just means that maybe you have actually had the courage to try something new or reach for a higher goal, and you don't really feel qualified, right? A lot of you have probably heard this concept, and it's basically the feeling like you're a fake. You're faking it through life. You don't really know what you're doing. You're just going along, doing the best you can, maybe at your job or even in a relationship, and hoping that nobody figures out that you're just making it up as you go. It's basically just a lack of confidence. That's all imposter syndrome really is. Feeling fake because you don't have as much confidence in an area of your life as you would like. And it's funny because a lot of people don't know this phrase, but they know the feeling. I think it was my mom, maybe, that I was mentioning this to, or maybe it was my mother-in-law, somebody in my family. And they were like, what's imposter syndrome? And when I explained it, she was like, oh, yeah, no, I get that. So even if we don't know that phrase, I think we all can relate to this feeling. And I definitely think in work, in our careers, we feel this a lot because there's so much that pressure to perform and ways that you can feel visible and vulnerable in work when you're climbing the ladder or maybe speaking in front of other people, having to make big decisions, managing other people. There's a lot of opportunities for imposter syndrome and a lack of confidence to come up. And certainly, I think anytime people are changing careers and want to do something different, I know I've definitely had clients, and this show actually was born. The idea to do this was born out of a conversation I had with a client who was feeling this completely while she was trying to change careers. So that's a place where it can show up as well. In order to grow and reach for something new, we have to put ourselves into new territory, something we've never done before. And no one gets through life without experiencing this, unless you just stay the same, never take a chance, never do anything different. I guess maybe then you'll avoid feeling it, right? But that's not realistic. It really can cause you to feel like a fraud sometimes, like you're lying to people. And I have felt this as well. I'm going to share a little bit with you about that myself too. But, we don't need to go through life worried that people are going to expose us and figure us out like we don't really know what we're doing. But like I said, I was having a conversation a couple months ago with a client of mine, and she was dealing with this, trying to change careers, also going through a divorce, just a big big time of transition in her life. And she was really overcome with this sense of imposter syndrome. And it made her really afraid to want to go on job interviews, and just really kind of try for something that she had never done. But we all have to get through this. And we have the skills, but it does take a lot of courage, I understand, to try to transfer skills from one career to another when you haven't had that job title. That can be really scary. And that's a big, big source of imposter syndrome. So if you are feeling that, believe me, all of my clients and I feel it with you too. It can be very intimidating, but you don't have to look at it that way. You can transcend this. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I know for me, I absolutely felt imposter syndrome when I first started my business, which is almost 6 years ago now. And it really took a tremendous amount of guts and nerve, really, for me to start charging people who were twice my age for coaching services. And especially in coaching, because it's almost like I'm the product, right? I'm selling my expertise and my experience. So I'm really putting myself out there on the line. Coaching is a hard sell anyway, because it's so intangible. You don't get a physical product along with it, right? So that can make it challenging enough just to sell it. But then even more so, the person who is the coach has to have confidence in what they are selling and in the results and in themselves, or no one's going to buy into it. So getting my first couple of clients, my first handful of was very intimidating for me. And it's one of the reasons why I charged so little when I first started out, because what I was charging was a reflection of my level of confidence at the time. So also think about that. Maybe if you're out there applying for jobs, what you're applying for might be a reflection of your level of confidence at that time. Okay. So I was definitely dealing with imposter syndrome and faking it until I could make it. I am the queen of that. But the funny thing is, that's how you make it, by just getting started. We always want to have all this clarity up front, right? We want to have all our confidence, all our clarity, all our answers, everything figured out up front, and then we'll take action. But life never works that way. You have to take action before you have it figured out, before you know what the hell you're doing. You just have to, because that's how you figure out what you're doing. That's the way that equation works, but we all have it backwards. And we're trying to basically start with the answer and then figure out the problem. You don't get to do that. You have to figure out the problem, and then that leads to the answer. Okay? It's almost like basic math. So, and when you see it that way, it basically eliminates the imposter syndrome, because you don't expect to have all your clarity and confidence and everything up front. You know that you're not going to. You're going to get it along the way. So that's why you go ahead and apply for that job anyway. You go ahead and interview for the promotion anyway. Whatever it is that you want to do, you go ahead and start that business anyway, because you know you're going to become qualified in the process. You're not doing it because you're qualified. All right. You're going to do it and then become qualified in the process. That's how it works. And you have to be okay with that if you want to make big things in your life. But as painful as it might be to deal with this, I want you to also consider how painful it would be to never deal with imposter syndrome. You might be thinking about what it's going to cost you to take a risk and do something different in your life. But what is it costing you if you don't? What is it costing you if you never change? If you never put yourself out there? In the long run, the cost that you're going to incur for never changing, never growing, never reaching your potential is far greater than any pain or cost that you're going to, encounter if it doesn't work out. All right. Staying the same is always going to cost you more than taking a risk, even if that risk doesn't work out. I promise you. I know you probably don't believe me. If you think about it, taking a risk isn't about whether or not it works out. It's just about taking the risk. It's about going through the process and the growth that comes from it. So if you make personal growth your priority, then it doesn't really matter what the outcome is. You're not as attached to it. Your confidence doesn't hinge on it. And that's where all your freedom and all your strength comes from. When you adopt this perspective, it really kind of kills the imposter syndrome, because your goal is to get outside of your comfort zone and do something different. And if you do that, you're a success. No matter what comes from it, you will learn from it. And you're not so attached to the outcome. And you can call yourself authentic that way. That to me is so much more authentic in life and more confidence building than just staying the same and not trying anything new because you're afraid of the discomfort. Discomfort is all around in life. There's no point in trying to avoid it. Okay, let's take a quick commercial break. When we come back, I want to share with you some more examples of imposter syndrome from people in my life, and specifically the number one piece of advice that I can give you on how to overcome it. All right, stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hey everyone, while the show takes a quick break, I want to tell you about 2 ways that you can get help in your career for free. First, you can sign up for my mailing list and be a part of my community. I offer in-depth resources and solutions for your career problems. I have a free gift waiting for you when you sign up. Head over to careeruprising.com/signup and join my community today. Then join my LinkedIn group called Career Uprising Premium Online Community. It's growing every day, and you can interact with me and ask questions about your own situation. Just open up LinkedIn now and search for Career Uprising Premium Online Community. And I can't wait to connect with you. Let's get back to the show. So I was having a discussion one day a couple of months ago with my husband about this concept of imposter syndrome. And I learned something about him. I didn't really even realize how much he's felt this in his career as well. And, he's very successful. He's in a senior level position as a software engineer. And he's been working with computers, I think, since he was 5. I think around that age, he started to kind of build his own computers, which just is amazing to me. He's really talented. And, I think that part of the reason why he has felt so much of this is because he didn't go the traditional route. So he never got a computer science degree or any IT certifications at all. He has none of that, okay? He is completely self-made, which is so cool. But he's working alongside people who have these computer science degrees and got formal trainings and got all these certifications and took a different route to get to the same place. And he's experienced resentment from coworkers because of it. He can tell, it's unspoken sometimes, but people are envious of somebody who seemingly took a shortcut to get where they are, where they feel like they followed all the rules, right? They did what they were supposed to do. They checked all the boxes. They paid all that money for those degrees. And it's a little disheartening to find people who didn't do that, who are equal or even ahead of you, right? Of course, it's perfectly fair. It seems unfair, but it's perfectly fair. Everyone has a different path, right? But because of that, he's never completely been comfortable with his ability. And in a way, that's what I like about him, because I know he's very career focused and he's always striving for more growth, and he's never completely comfortable with what he's doing, doesn't get complacent. And I am the same way. So I respect that about him. But I do think that there is a difference between never settling and always keeping that hunger and wanting to do your best. But then there's a difference between that and then feeling like an imposter and like you're not good enough. because you are good enough. You do belong, and you can feel that, but also strive for more. So let's talk a little bit more about the difference between those two, okay? Because imposter syndrome implies that you don't belong. You're not good enough. You're harboring a secret that people are going to find out one day. And that's not how you need to feel. That perspective, in fact, is completely unproductive. Okay, but what I do want you to experience is never settling for just good enough. I want you to always be improving your skills, going back to school, trying new things, starting a new hobby, whatever it is. Just open up a side business or, the gig economy, something like that. Awesome. I always want you to be getting out of your comfort zone and stretching yourself. But you can do that with a positive intent that doesn't imply that you aren't good enough the way that you are, that you're a fake. We can be more than good enough and accepting of ourselves just the way we are while still striving for more. Those things aren't mutually exclusive. And I think that that's where people go wrong with imposter syndrome. They think that they can't stretch and try for something new without implying that they aren't good enough for it or don't belong there. And it's just not true. We all have to try at some point and do something new. I mean, it's a universal experience. Everybody feels this. I think if you can normalize it, it helps a lot. But I think the best advice, the number one thing that I can probably offer you to help you overcome this is to please, please, please stop comparing yourself to other people. You know you're doing this, and I know I have done it. When you compare yourself to somebody else, you are literally comparing two things that are incomparable. You're comparing an apple and an orange. You are two different people with two different life paths who made two different sets of choices. Stop the insanity. Stop comparing yourself to other people. It is a complete waste of time, and it's only going to leave you feeling inadequate, like you haven't done enough in your life. And that's maybe you have, maybe you haven't, but there's nothing to be compared. Okay. You have no idea when you look at somebody else, what they've been through and what it has taken to get them to that point in time. All you're seeing is that end result. You have no idea what their path was to get there. Okay. So you simply cannot compare. Now, I know you might be thinking that comparison can be good. Maybe if you see somebody who's achieving something that you want to see or that you want to achieve yourself, and you want to strive for that as a result of seeing it. Now, I do agree with that, but there's still a risk involved in there. Because if you never achieve what that person achieves, and let's say you never end up having what they have, are you still going to be happy with yourself? That's a slippery slope. The answer should be yes. I would say let yourself be inspired by other people, but don't compare yourself to them. And don't always expect the same results. Results not typical, right? You've seen that everywhere. It's true. But yes, have goals, strive for something new, be inspired by other people, but there's a difference between being inspired by them and comparing yourself to them. Set your own goals based on who you are, what's right for you, what you have, not what other people have done. Start where you are, with who you are and what you have, and just go from there. Yes, be inspired by other people. I'm always a fan of that. But don't compare. Okay, that makes it way too personal. I think that's the difference, right? Comparison is personal. Now it's personal. But inspiration is much broader. And you can be inspired by somebody, but then adapt it in your own life so it looks different. Okay, I think that's the difference. Okay. That is it for this episode. It's been so good to be back. I hope that this helped you. And I do hope that you, like I said, that you will connect with me because there are so many good episodes coming. I'm so glad to be back. So let me tell you how you guys can connect with me just in case you have forgotten, or maybe this is your first show. My website is Career Uprising. You can learn more about coaching programs there. I have a free blog. You can also get all of these episodes there as well. Every Monday, it'll refresh and the newest episode will be out. So check out the blog, check out the podcast. You can even book a call with me if you really want to chat, and we can talk about the coaching programs. But I also have, that's like a little, not a secret, but a lot of people don't know, I have an online store on my website with very, very low cost resources. Meditations, ebooks, and little job search guides, like I'm talking $20 or less, that will really, really help you to launch a job search, make a career change, or just increase your confidence. So check out the online store as well. And then while you're there, sign up to be on my email community in my little email group, and you'll get all the updates about all the new shows and special events and everything that's coming out. Okay. All right. I love you guys so much. It's good to be back, and I will be back again in about a week or two with another new episode. Take care. That's it for today's show. Thank you so much for listening. If you like what you heard today, please consider giving the show a positive review on iTunes. It would mean a lot to me, and it would help to spread the word so that others can learn about the show. Thanks again for tuning in, and I can't wait to connect with you again next time on Career Uprising.
This show was brought to you by InflowRadio.com. The best curated talk radio network for personal development, wellness, spirituality, and conscious business.